When entitled nurse meets dumb admin. My mother works in a public pharmacy who provides for home care teams, thus, they handle a lot of patients' info and controlled meds. Besides Mega Karen, my mother has the unfortunate luck to work with plenty of entitled nurses and doctors, and some very dumb workmates. Among the admin staff, there used to be the malpractice of giving in to any nurse/doctor's requests, even for controlled meds. Then, the state brought in a new system where every request must be registered under the doctor's login and recorded on the admin login for entry and delivery. Some of her workmates, though, would be often so pressured by the nurses, or just don't give a damn about the new system, that they would just give in. My mother never did, thankfully. She always requests for the online forms, so she is free of this mess. Well, these last weeks, as the new supervisor is taking over the reins, she has been even more strict about following the new policies, and then, disaster struck. A nurse applied morphine on an old lady and she almost died. The lady was hospitalized and had to be resuscitated, but she survived. Nonetheless, hell broke loose as they tried to find out what happened. Turns out, the morphine was never requested by the doctors, so they inquired the offending nurse. She said she got the morphine at my mother's pharmacy, so they wanted to find the logs, because morphine was not supposed to be given for free like that. The delivery was not registered either, which means it was passed around by hand, and no one came forth to admit guilty. Guess what? If the person responsible to deliver the morphine had actually taken a look at the patient log, which is required to make the log, they would know the lady was allergic to morphine. Not only that, but they would know there was no medical request for morphine for this patient either at the time, which meant the nurse asked something because she thought she knew better, and the admin gave her because they also thought they knew better than follow the rules, and the poor old lady and her family were the ones who paid the price. The fallout has been very unsatisfactory either, because the lady's doctor protected the nurse by putting in a request in the system, and since no admin admitted fault, they couldn't punish anyone because there are no cams, even though there was less morphine than in the system. Thanks to that, though, the pharmacist is pissed, because it falls on her back since she is the supervisor, and she had been finally putting in motion the changes and a term all admins will have to sign about how to handle the meds, or be fired if not complying. Maybe Karen will finally be offed. Still, the nurses were always bitching about wanting some med or another to the admins, even though they know they can't, and it isn't even like it is such a hard process to ask for them. All the doctor has to do is put in an official request, and it is automatically accepted by the system. Funny thing is that they know who they can bother for that, as they stopped asking my mother or the pharmacists in favor of the younger boys who work with her or Karen. Some of her workmates, on the other hand, have been bitching about the new rules and the new supervisor for getting on their backs, like she is the villain for wanting to make things right. Their work impacts the lives of a lot of people, and some or the admins does not seem to care. My mother more than once has picked up inconsistencies on the medicine cabinets after leaving everything accounted for before her leaving days, and even found sterilized products with ripped packages going in the kits rather than the trash where they belong. That place is a real mess, a real toxic mess. At least my mother changed all of her passwords so no one can log on her account and put some wrong order in her name. She was afraid Karen might do something like that given how nice she has been these days.